speech that I'm going to refute is by Ryan Hernandez. His topic was music piracy. The main claim that Ryan declared was that music piracy does not harm the music industry substantially. There are three secondary claims that he makes. The first one, a considerable amount of people that pirate music would not buy the illegally obtained content in the first place. The second secondary claim, pirated music actually helps sales. His third and final secondary claim, with the economy at its current state, it would not allow for significant positive growth for the music industry. I would first like to comment on the secondary claim that a considerable amount of people that pirate music would not buy the illegally music inputs. This is hard to believe because it is not necessarily phrased as a claim, which makes it somewhat awkward. He talks about how Russian companies sold their CDs around $2 to $3. There's no evidence to support this though. It is inferred that more people bought the CDs because of the price being so low, but there are no statistical evidence. There is also a case from 2005 that he quotes as a woman being fined $1.29 million for downloading songs that were supposedly not getting any profit off of them. There is not any way of showing how there was not any money being made. Therefore, this is another inference. The second point has no proof of someone who will listen to music and use it as a sample, then attend a show because of the sample. There's also a claim that more people will go to more live shows if they do not have a CD of this artist. This is an assumption, and again, there's no proof that more people attend shows if they cannot buy a CD of this artist. Also, there were a significant amount of sales from consumers that downloaded samples of music that later bought the CDs. There's also no more support for this. The final secondary claim, the economy at its current state would not allow for significant positive growth for the music industry, is worded awkwardly and is hard to follow. In his supporting points, he gives support of how there were more releases than there are now because of the economy, which helps make this point more believable. These stats do come from the mid-1990s, though, which would make the stats somewhat outdated. If there were more recent statistics from the early 2000s to present day, then there would be more of an appeal to society now. As I finish with refuting Brian's speech, I can see where he is going with this claim of fact that music piracy does minimal harm to the music industry. There needs to be more support overall for his supporting claims. More assumptions are required to be made because the claims simply do not have any support. There are inferences throughout the claim that can lead the audience in a different direction than he is trying for. Therefore, it is hard to believe that music piracy does not affect the music industry. Thank you.
All right, structurally, you follow everything pretty clearly. You've got a challenge on the advocate's evidence on the first point, basically suggesting that there's a lack of citation or lack of evidence on those points. It's okay, those challenges are pretty reasonable. The absence of any counterclaim on this, I think, undermines your ability to respond to this. In essence, it's, well, I need better proof on that. Well, you know, there could easily be follow-up with better proof. If you had some counterclaim, that would require that the proof be a lot stronger. The challenge on the assumptions on the next point, that's okay. I'm not sure how much you get out of that particular assumption, or out of the challenge that you're making on that assumption. The impact is not explained very clearly. On the third point, again, the labeling is clear. But your challenge on the statistics was not very clear. The argument about some of these things doesn't really sound like an argument. It sounds more like a critique rather than a response. In other words, here are the failings of the advocate's point, as opposed to here's why that means that you shouldn't accept this particular conclusion, or here's an inference that we can make that reaches a different conclusion here. And I think that that ends up making your speech meander around a little bit on the subject instead of really presenting a contrast on those particular claims. All right, thank you.